Hello everyone, I am your host Folubimi Deleke, and this week we'll be discussing some differences between two systems of classifications: phylogenetic classification and Linnaean classification. Carl Linnaeus, born 23rd of May 1707 in Roskilde, was a Swedish biologist and physician credited for creating the system of binomial nomenclature and naming our lovely species, Homo sapiens, with Homo being the genus and sapiens being the species. He received most of his higher education at Uppsala University and began giving lectures in botany there in 1730. He lived abroad between 735 and 1738, where he studied and also published the first edition of his Systema Naturae in the Netherlands. He then returned to Sweden, where he became professor of medicine and botany at Uppsala. In the 1740s, he was sent on many journeys throughout Sweden to find and classify plants and animals. In the 1750s and 1760s, he continued to collect and classify plants, animals, plants, and minerals, while publishing several volumes. By the time of his death in 1778, he was one of the most acclaimed scientists in Europe. He ended up being called titles like Princeps Botanicorum and the Pliny of the North, to the extent of even being called the founder of modern ecology. Now, there are some aspects of him and his science that a modern audience wouldn't find pleasing. However, that is all for a future episode. Linnaeus classifies species into groups based on their appearances and their characteristics, as opposed to how we do it today, known as phylogenetics. Phylogenetics is the study of the evolutionary history and relationships among or within groups of organisms. These relationships are determined by phylogenetic interference, methods that focus on observed heritable traits such as DNA sequences, protein, amino acid sequences. This is a method much more accurate than Linnaeus' taxonomy. Now moving on to another story, to, as we delve into the astonishing case of Karen Keegan and the groundbreaking insights from biologist Alfonso Martinez Arias. Karen Keegan's story began with a medical mystery. At 52, suffering from severe kidney failure, genetic tests revealed that two of her three children were not biologically hers. The reality was even more astounding. Karen was a chimera. I'm sure you've heard this story many times before. Possessing two different sets of DNA. This rare condition emerged from two fertilized eggs, merging into one individual in the womb. Her case challenges the notion that DNA alone defines our identity. Biologist Alfonso Martinez Arias argues that DNA is not the blueprint of life, but rather a toolbox for the true architects, ourselves. In his book, The Master Builder, Martinez Arias refutes the idea popularized by Richard Dawkins in The Selfish Gene that DNA dictates our destiny. Instead, he champions the concept of the altruistic cell, asserting that cells, not genes, are the masterminds behind the development and organization of our bodies. Martinez Arias has spent decades studying how a single fertilized egg can multiply into billions of specialized cells. His work highlights the remarkable ability of cells to self-organize and create complex structures, like eyes and lungs, from the same genetic material. This was dramatically demonstrated with the birth of the first clone cat, Copycat. Funny, isn't it? Who looks and behaves differently from a genetic twin, underscoring the role of cells in shaping individuality. In a groundbreaking experiment, Martinez Arias and his team at Cambridge used a chemical cocktail to coax embryonic cells into forming gastruloids, structures mimicking early human embryos. These gastruloids showed that cells communicate and coordinate to form the body's architecture without a predefined blueprint in DNA. This discovery supports the view that cells are the true organizers, capable of interpreting and acting on genetic information. As we continue to explore the intricate dance of cells and genes, we begin to rewrite the story of life. The essential of the cell of genetics is upon us, promising to unlock new understandings and revolutionize how we preserve our genetic makeup, how we perceive our genetic makeup and biological identity. Join us next week on Genetic Unsealed as we uncover more stories related to genetics. This is Folbima Deleke, the host of Genetic Unsealed, out.